Faith leaders from across Ontario are urging the province to reverse a contentious policy. They want Doug Ford's government to cancel its decision to close 10 of the province's 17 overdose prevention sites. The plan is set to take effect by next spring. The CBC's Megan Fitzpatrick was listening to the news conference. So Megan, what did we hear?
Well, they did hold this news conference, Andrew, and they've also sent a letter to Premier Doug Ford that they say more than 200 faith leaders have signed. And that letter and at their news conference, they're urging the Premier to reverse his decision. It was a few weeks ago that the government announced new regulations that they intend to bring in having to do with supervised consumption sites. The rules will say that they can't operate within 200 meters of a school or daycare. And that effectively will mean that 10 of the province's current sites will be forced to close down by March 31st of next year. 5 of those sites are here in the city of Toronto. The other ones are located in Hamilton, Guelph, Kitchener, Ottawa, and Thunder Bay. 9 of the 10 sites are provincially funded. And the Premier and Health Minister Sylvia Jones have defended this decision. They feel like these sites aren't working. They have cited hearing concerns from community members around drug equipment being found in public places. They say that people are worried about the safety of their children near these sites, and they cite crime concerns related to these sites as well. Instead, the government intends to fund what they call heart hubs, which are homelessness and addiction recovery treatment hubs. Now, the leaders today, Andrew, were saying that closing these sites amounts to giving people death sentences, people who use these sites. These faith leaders saying these sites do save lives, they prevent overdoses, that there's a toxic drug supply crisis going on, and these sites are needed to help people and to save lives. Sylvia Jones has said that people will not die as a result of closing these centers. The faith leaders today rejected that notion, saying she's living in a fantasy if she believes that. At that news conference, there was a woman who has depended on one of these sites here in Toronto, and she talked about how vital it was to her. Here's a bit of what she said.
They don't hand out drugs. They're handing out the equipment, so it's going to be safe to do the drugs and be there if something were to happen. Someone is going to die or go under, how they say it. But it's a lot more there. There's counseling, there's support, it's people you're surrounded by that understand and care and don't judge you. It's a great place. Closing it down is going to kill a lot of people. Are going to die. It's going to be a crisis. There's going to be a lot of dead people. A lot.
She shared that she has struggled with drug addiction for more than 30 years, but she has now been clean for 2 years. She told the news conference she wasn't sure she would be alive today if it wasn't for the help and support she got at that center here in Toronto. She also warned, again, that she feels like there will be deaths because of the closure of these sites. She also warned there will be more public drug use once these sites close. The faith leaders and that client of that site as well, saying that closing these sites will not push people into recovery. And they say if that's the government's intention, it's not going to work. They said quite the opposite. It will drive people away from recovery. So they are hoping to convince Premier Doug Ford to change his mind. Andrew, they are appealing to the public to help put pressure on the government to reverse course. And again, appealing to him to change his mind. But he has been quite strong in his defense of this decision.
Megan, thank you. The CBC's Megan Fitzpatrick live in Toronto.